This is incredibly difficult to watch. Two suspected criminals set ablaze in broad daylight while a vibrant community stood by and watched in Onitsha in the Anambra state in Nigeria. Let me just warn you that the videos you're about to watch are completely depressing. Viewer discretion is therefore advised. Preliminary investigations have indicated that the two suspected criminals are on the wanted list of the police, adding that one of their gang members is currently in police custody. Residents of that particular area have also accused the criminals of several attacks, including dispossessing them of their personal belongings and other unsuspecting victims of their valuables. And so finally, when they got the chance to deal with the criminal, they meted out this retribution to them. In Ghana, it is called instant justice. In Nigeria, it is called jungle justice. And in any other part of the world, it is called mob justice. This is a very common ritual in most African countries where thieves and petty criminals are dealt with, or people administer justice to them simply because they suspect them of a crime and they cannot trust the police to handle the crime. And so the best way they know how is to mete out mob justice to these criminals. And this is a very prevalent problem on the continent of Africa. Neighboring countries like Ghana, Kenya, and Uganda are all complicit when it comes to mob justice. Even South Africa, that is touted the leading light on the continent of Africa, cannot absolve itself. We have this problem on our hands. The media in every year inundate us with stories of mob justice, furnish us with all the figures. We look at all of these things, and the usual knee-jerk reaction is go on social media, talk about, we have our politicians come on shows on TV, they speak about the issue, and we go to bed, we wake up the next morning to a deja vu experience of all of this all over again. This is the problem we have on our hands. But it got me wondering, why are democratic state ruled by a constitution be doing this? Because mob justice is a criminal offense, if you care to know. Criminal offense that needs to be punished by the law. But we have laws in this country and people perpetuate these crimes and they get away with it with impunity. They are never punished. Why is this happening? Because we've all refused or we've neglected the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room here is an ineffective criminal justice system. When it comes to Africa, people do not trust the police to do their job. They don't have any trust in them at all. If there's any trust at all, it is little or zero trust in the police force. People do not trust the police to handle crime. And so they are radicalized by the inefficiencies within the police system to take their arms into their own hands and deal with criminals the best way they know how, which is very appalling, is very unacceptable and very barbaric. You've just seen that in Nigeria of the two criminals who were brutalized, which is completely absurd and cannot be done in a constitutional state. But we continue to see these things because people do not trust the police. In Africa, people perceive the police as corrupt, shady, and demotivated. They feel like when they report the crime to the police will not come to their aid. In fact, in most of these African countries, when you call the police to report a crime, you are always expecting that they will ask you of a bribe. They ask you to tip them before they come. Sometimes you call the police to report a crime to them and they are whinging about their own personal problems within the police service. They can tell you that they do not have the fuel to get into their cars and come to your crime scene. If you have a car and you can bring them to the crime scene, they will come. So assuming reporting to the police and being faced with some of these challenges from the police service, it wears you out and it makes you want to make your own option. So it's either your way or the highway. So it leaves people who report crime to the police with little options that they take the law into their own hands and deal with this matter. People cannot trust the police to do their job. If I'm going to call the police and they are going to ask me for a bribe, then I might just want to deal with a criminal I've just caught on my hands. But that is very unacceptable. We need to have a very effective criminal justice system that you can be assured that when you report an issue to the police, they will be able to take the issue head on and deal with it. One other problem at the heart of mob justice in Africa is the social inequality. Research has proven that most of these crimes happen in low deprived areas. The areas low income, these individuals are threatened by existential crisis, and so they become impressionable to mob justice. When crimes rears its head in that area, their only resort is mob justice, because they feel like mob justice is a tool they can use to combat crime in their communities. If they're going to call the police and the police is going to demand bribe or money from them, then they are not going to call at all. They are just as well going to take the law into their own hands to deal with the criminal. So all of these problems contributing to mob justice in Africa. But let me just tell you one thing. One of the scariest things about mob justice is that a mob doesn't know who you are. They don't know your social status in society. They don't care who you are. When you're suspected of a crime, they'll come for your head. They'll deal with you. You're going to be on their chopping board and they'll not forgive. They're not going to take away the chance to dig into you on their chopping board. They've done it to MPs. They've done it to military men. They've done it to homosexuals or even people they've accused of witchcraft. You just have to be accused of a crime and a mob shows up in front of your house with clubs, with stones, with a group of people dealing with you the way they want to deal with you. And you can't even be assured of an effective police system that if you call the police will be able to come to your aid. And that's the problem we have on our hands. You are going about and you're constantly watching over your shoulders because you might not know when somebody might just accuse you of a crime and your head might be come for. They'll just come for you and deal with you. So mob justice is in some way also creating a society of paranoia. People are living in fear. When they see criminals treated this way, they ask themselves nagging questions. Is this the way I'm going to be treated if I'm just suspected of a crime? Is this how I'm going to be treated, burnt? And you see people are betting the group of mob that are, killing the others. And we call ourselves a Christian and a Muslim nation, and we don't have any ounce of humanity for individuals or people we perceive them to commit a crime. If we claim that somebody has committed a crime, what's the best thing to do in a constitution, in a country that is ruled by constitution? You simply report them to the police and the police take them up. But because you don't trust the police, you don't have effective criminal justice system, people take the law into their own hands. So it's always going to be the court's problem. Is it still going to be the police problem if we have to deal with mob action head on in the African countries? We need to be able to punish the perpetrators of these acts. We need to punish them because day in, day out, we have innocent victims which are being lost to some of this mob action. Let me just mention a case in point in Ghana, and I'm not by this trying to invoke the emotional trauma the grieving family of Major Maxwell Mahama are going through. Major Maxwell Mahama was part of the Ghana Armed Forces, and when he appeared in that community where he was brutally attacked, he made mention of the fact that he was in the military, and the mob just didn't care. They just went after him and dealt with him. It was really filmic. I don't even have the language to unpick how the military man was dealt. We lost him, and the family had to go through that traumatic experience. So innocent victims are being lost all the time to mob action in Africa. It's time to rise up and deal decisively and head on with this problem because everybody is involved. A mob can come for you regardless of what you do, whether you drive a Mercedes or whichever car you drive, regardless of your social status in society, they are going to come for you. They are going to come for you. We need to get up and do something. We need to punish the perpetrators and make it very unpopular for them that if you are nursing any idea of committing a mob action, would come for you rather. Let the constitution seek to work. Let's build a very effective criminal justice system that people can repose their trust in the police service. They can repose their trust in the criminal justice system, that when they report a crime to the police will not demand bribe or any money from them before they come onto the crime scene to be able to deal with the crime head on. We need to build a very effective system that can take care of this. When Obama visited Ghana, he said, Africa doesn't need what? Strong men. It needs strong institutions. So we need to build this institution. We need to beef them up. We need to retool them. We need more personnel in the Ghana Police Service, in Nigeria, in South Africa, in any part of the world in Africa to be able to deal with crime. The infractions on human rights, the abuse of human rights is becoming too many. It's becoming too much in Africa, and we need to rise up and do something. And this will start by building that effective criminal justice system that the citizens are assured that when they report the matter to the police will be very effective in dealing with the crime. I can tell you for a fact that whatever the mob group did in Nigeria didn't solve anything, because if the notion was that they are going to stop criminality in the area, why do criminals still have a field day anyway? This is not the first time mob justice is being carried out in Nigeria. All the time it's becoming like a norm from what I'm getting. It's becoming like a norm. But day in, day out, people are still going about their corrupt activity. People are still stealing. Criminals are still there. So mob justice is not really the sure way to deal with criminality in society. Let's resort to the criminal justice system that can deal with this matter for us, because they are the ones who can deal with the matter. Well, my name is Fritz Amagashie. I'm a journalist and a storyteller in Ghana. I'm very passionate about human rights issues. Let me know what you think about this particular subject in the comment section. I'll be dying to read your comment. You can also connect with me on social media: Facebook, Fritz Amagashie; on X is Fritz_Delano; and of course on Instagram, Fritz_Delano. Have a good one and cheers.